Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heather Quinn. I'm the RD Learning Projects Coordinator here at BGCA in the Resource Development Department. And we have Jennifer presenting today. Just a couple of housekeeping rules before we get started. You all are on mute right now. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please utilize the question box that is located on the right side of your screen right now. And Jennifer will either get to them during her presentation or right after. If you have any technical difficulties throughout this presentation, please use the chat box, and or if you have any other questions outside of the presentation, just put them there throughout this webinar, and I will answer those. So enjoy the webinar. I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer now.
Thanks so much, Heather. I really appreciate it. Well, welcome everybody. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to present today. My name is Jennifer Ochoa Feaster. Most of you know me as Jennifer Ochoa, but I did just get married, so the new name is throwing everybody for a curve. I've been with the Boys and Girls Club of Wayne County for about 14 years now. I've had several roles, and my position just keeps evolving. I'm currently serving as the Director of Financial Administration. So like Heather said, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them up in the box. I'll try to catch those as we go. Otherwise, we can get started. The first slide, if you want to flip it, there we go. I wanted to start out by reviewing why engaging your corporate community is important and why the potential impact on your organization could be pretty significant. So what you're looking at is just a graph from Giving USA Foundation. It shows that in 2015 there was a total of $373 billion donated to charities. Now that is up slightly from 2014 where there was $358 billion donated, and the graph shows that it's pretty much been a steady increase of charitable contributions year over year for the last couple years. So that's a good sign. On the next slide, it shows the main sources of charitable giving were from individuals, foundations, bequests, and coming in fourth were our corporations. You can see the breakdown of what they gave by segment and what percent of the giving that is. Take a note that corporate giving in 2015 increased 3.9% up to $18.46 billion. So I am sure that this is by far more than any of our operating budgets, and the potential to tap into some of that $18 billion would probably benefit us all. Now that we know that there's that much out there waiting for us to grab, let's see some ways that we can bring some money back to our clubs. The next few slides are going to highlight some of the key components to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Wayne County's corporate giving program. So the first slide is about cause marketing relationships. Boys and Girls Clubs of America works very hard at building their corporate relationships. In turn, they filter those relationships down to the local clubs like us. Easy examples of this include the JCPenney Roundup campaign, an Arby's Giving campaign, Party Cities point of sale campaigns, and so on. Any of these campaigns are great and not only get your name out in the community, but they also provide a few extra dollars to your budget. Our club has seen as little as $100 up to $2,500 raised from these local campaigns. And you can find many of the partnerships on bgca.net's website. There's even a calendar that will help you plan for each campaign. So just a note, just this morning, about 2 hours ago, a couple of our local owners from KFC and Taco Bell stopped into our club to present us with a check from their spring promotion. And they actually set a new record in a 2-week period with just a point of sale promotion where they asked if people wanted to donate $1 at the register. In 2 weeks, they raised over $3,200. So that was a great surprise that we had, and we didn't have to do any work in order to get that. The next slide, this is that direct link that I was talking about on bgca.net that talks about cause marketing promotions, and anybody can click on that and go and check that out or download that calendar, and that's a really big help too for planning some of these campaigns. Here are a few keys for success to any of these campaigns. Number one is you should contact your local store to encourage them to promote the campaign. Many of the stores just get the marketing information, but sometimes they need a little reminder of the importance to run the campaign and to have their employees promoting the campaign during the time frame. No one is going to donate $1 at the register to our club if the employee doesn't ask for them to donate it. So that's very important that we encourage the store managers to have their employees promote the campaign. Second, ask if there is anything you can do to help. We sometimes have our Keystone or Torch Clubs visit the stores to say thank you. There's even opportunities to help with the promotion. Our Torch Club kids have bagged purchases at the checkout, or they've had a table of information about what we want to do or what we do at the club or upcoming special events or opportunities. Sometimes we say, hey, it's getting to be Halloween time. We're going to have a public Halloween party and haunted house that you can bring your entire family out at our club. And those are great opportunities to promote other things that are happening in your club. Third is market it. Social media is a fantastic way to communicate with a large number of people. You can send out tweets, you can post it on Facebook, you can send out e-blast, you can even include it in newsletters or upcoming events. Just make sure you can promote it as best you can. So the check that we got this morning from Taco Bell, we were even unaware that the campaign was taking place. So we told them, make sure you contact us. Let's build that relationship so we can help get more people and drive people to the promotion through our board, through our members, just through social media so that we can help raise even more money. The next slide shows some examples of relationships. It also talks about cause marketing and how we can utilize that to build even better relationships. Some examples are after we collaborated with our local Buffalo Wild Wings Community Day promotion, we approached our local store about providing monthly food for our teen nights. And we spoke about it, what our needs were. They agreed, and now they are a food sponsor once a month for 3 of our club's teen nights. It's a great way for us to recruit teens. I mean, what teen doesn't like to eat at B-Dubs? And it also promotes Buffalo Wild Wings as giving back to the community. We can also build on existing relationships for celebrations for our staff and board. Here at our club, we've simply made some phone calls and asked if Olive Garden or Red Lobster or other restaurants would be willing to provide food for 35 to 40 people to celebrate. Again, that's at a board meeting, that's at a staff meeting, or just some special celebration. Who doesn't like free food? And the businesses get to give back to the community, so it's a win-win for everybody. We've also had some items donated for our Easter egg hunt from CVS. Leftover or seasonal items have been donated from Joann's, Walmart, Hallmark, and many other organizations or companies for our Christmas shop. And Lowe's has donated for our talent show. That was a pretty unique story. One of our staff members went to the local Lowe's just to purchase some PVC pipe to build a backdrop. And after explaining what she was there for and who she was, they called the store manager, and the store manager came out and said, you know, their kids come to the club and they want to help out in any way that they can, and their employees actually helped put together the backdrop and cut everything for her and get it ready to go, and then they just donated everything. We didn't have to purchase anything. So capitalize on your community connections and certainly your members' parents and people that know about the Boys and Girls Club. The next slide is another very important aspect of our corporate community relations. They are our key leader lunches. So we developed these about 3 years ago, and they have been very successful in building relationships with new and existing businesses, as well as a great tool to recruit volunteers and prospective board members. So key leader lunches are created by our club to help educate business or government leaders in our community about the work that we do. The programs consist of a tour, education about the club, and a great lunch. We ask our board members to serve as hosts for the leaders, and they make the initial contact and secure the date for the lunch. This lunch is strictly for educational purposes to generate interest in our club, and nothing will be asked of the leaders. We don't solicit them in any way, shape, or form. It is strictly informational. Key components of a key leader lunch include holding them on a schedule, for example, either monthly or every other month or quarterly, whichever you would prefer. It's key to have a host. They are the first contact, and it helps to ease the tension with the key leader to have a colleague or a friend in the room with them. And then we ask those hosts to introduce them as well. Another key aspect is to continuously add names to the list. Look for new business leaders, make connections with your local Chamber of Commerce, or even just Google new companies in your area. I usually make a list and I send it out to my board to ask who knows who, and then have everyone sign up to say, I can host this person or I can host this person. So far in 3 years, we have added new corporate sponsors, recruited new board members, and have also made countless connections in our community. It's also important to send out a reminder about the luncheon the week of the lunch to not only the attendees but the host to make sure you get them there. And one thing I didn't add to this slide is we try to keep them small. We don't want to have a whole boardroom full of people. We keep them small and intimate. So we usually only have 3 to 4 key leaders and their host in our conference room. That way it feels more at home, more at ease. We just have a box lunch so everyone can sit around and feel relaxed while we just hold this conversation with people and let them learn about our club. The next slide talks about the largest part of our corporate giving program, and that is our corporate campaign. So we live in a smaller community, and several years ago we started getting feedback from our existing business donors that they felt like we asked them too often to support us. That is, for every special event, for every program event, and so on, we were making an ask. And it wasn't that they didn't want to support us, they just didn't want us to ask as often as what we did. So we listened to them and we decided to develop an all-inclusive corporate sponsorship. Now we meet with each business in early January or February, and we ask them to be a corporate sponsor that supports everything we do throughout the year. That includes all of our special events, our annual campaign, and even specific programs. We can clearly show the benefit that they receive at each level of sponsorship, and marketing departments love this aspect of it. While they love what we do and they want to support our kids, they also need to see what they get in return for their money. So the next slide is a snapshot of our corporate sponsorship levels. I've made it available for everyone to see in the handout section. I'd be more than happy to also email it to you if you want a editable copy of it. But please notice it lists all the benefits at each level. It's very clear, and it's a great, easy tool that can be emailed or presented in person to prospective corporate people. And it outlines everything we do for the year. It outlines what they're getting in marketing materials and press materials as well. The next slide highlights some things about our corporate campaign. So number one is that it's all inclusive. We only have to solicit them once a year, and that saves our staff time. It saves the corporate people's time, but it also makes it great because we only have to meet once a year. We can build on each level year over year. It's a great way to raise more money from each business. We usually start everyone out at a smaller amount, and then as they become more familiar with the club, we can move them up until they're at a higher level. We make a concentrated effort to help our sponsors feel like they're getting exposure for being a sponsor, and we highlight them in our monthly e-blast. We include their logos on all of our printed quarterly newsletters, and we also feature them at our special events with particular signage and at our annual dinner. Many of these organizations start to become part of the Boys and Girls Club family, and they're recognized everywhere we go for being associated with our organization. That helps us build our strongest relationships with these partners. We also make them feel good when they attend our events, And we give them special VIP treatment, including priority seating or special signage and recognition. Last year, we actually created a new kind of corporate sponsorship. We had several businesses that gave us some cash, but they also wanted to involve their employees or support us in other ways. So we created what we call an InKind corporate sponsorship. It has the same premise behind it. We only ask once. They get year-round benefits, but it's more customized to fit their needs or wishes. It's a combination of both cash and other in-kind items. That could be equipment, gift cards, volunteers, or various other items. A great example of this is what we do with Dick's Sporting Goods. We write up a special in-kind sponsorship that includes cash, gift cards from members that we honor monthly, a special shopping day for parents, and a donation of equipment. We have focused on soccer and basketball in the past and received brand new equipment for indoor, including indoor soccer goals, balls, jerseys, practice cones, and even new whistles for our refs. It is a great way to customize and get a sponsor to commit without having to pay the entire amount of the sponsorship in cash. It also introduces new businesses to our organization and it includes them in all of our special events. And we've also found that if someone starts out as an in-kind sponsor and they're only paying half of the amount in cash and half in employees donating their time or equipment, they usually tend to bump up faster in the different levels, and then they ultimately go into a full corporate sponsorship level as well. Next slide is where to begin. So the last thing I wanted to highlight about the corporate giving program was where to start. And we always start first with our board members. We have a great relationship with our board members, and we're very excited that they have 100% giving for our annual campaign. But many of them not only give a personal gift, they also have their organizations or businesses make a corporate gift. It's all about having the right people and the right decision makers on your board. It allows for easy decisions to be made with corporate gifts. Many of my renewal gifts I simply email to get a new gift, and I don't even have to make a face-to-face ask. The second place to find new corporate gifts is from the key leader lunches we hold. After the lunch, the development team, or in most cases the development person, can make a follow-up visit or personal invite to a special event. You can build the relationship and cultivate that relationship once you have that lunch. Another great place to start is to use your board members to get your foot in the door with other businesses. Let them schedule the meeting and go with you on the visit. Having some kind of connection to someone is always easier than a cold ask. And we found that that is so much easier to do, even if our board members send an email to invite people to a key leader lunch or to schedule the meeting. A lot of board members don't like to go and make an ask. So if they can just help make that connection, that is a great thing that they can participate in. Finally, simple research. I read newspapers every day. I attend chamber ribbon cutting ceremonies. I try to get out in the community and try to meet with new people. And this is how you start to make connections and then build them into relationships that can eventually build into corporate giving. So now I went through it really quick. I'm wondering if you guys have questions for me. What do you want to know about my corporate programming or any other questions you have about engaging your corporate community? Feel free to type them in the question box or in the chat section.
Okay, Jennifer, you have two questions so far. Both are from Megan Jeffries. The first one is for the corporate sponsorships. She's curious, what is the population of your town?
It is about 40,000. We used to have a very big manufacturing community, but a lot of the manufacturing jobs have moved away. So I have several banks that are corporate sponsors. I have a few manufacturing facilities, and then I have just some small business owners that are corporate sponsors as well.
Okay, and she also wanted to know, does the corporate sponsorship save them money or just easier to do the one ask?
Both. The answer to that is both. It does sometimes save them money, not very much, because when we built our corporate campaign, we kind of added up, okay, this is what we would normally get from them at each of these events for a table sponsorship or a golf sponsorship with a team. But then it also gives to the corporate campaign, or to our annual campaign, sorry about that. It also gives to the annual campaign. So it's much easier on them. Instead of having to write 5 or 6 checks per year, they write us one and they get all of the recognition.
Okay, we have two more that have
Okay.
popped up. This one's also from Megan. When you partner with your local businesses who are also national partners with BGCA, how do you
Mhm.
get them to donate locally rather than just to BGCA? For instance, I have talked with the local Taco Bell, but they just keep telling me they donate to BGCA and they can't control it.
Well, that's a good question. We have come across that some too. The biggest thing is to ask them specific questions. If you use that marketing calendar that is on the corporate website on .net, it outlines the time frame of when a lot of those point of sale promotions are going on. So BGCA sets with their national office every spring in the month of April, we'll say, they're going to run a 2-week promotion with JCPenney's, and you can give $1 at the register. If you go to your local companies and say, we know that our national affiliate is running this, if you participate in this locally, can we help you with advertising? Can we give you some signage? What can we do so that you can run this national campaign as well?
Okay, and the last question for now is from Hank. He asks, what is a reasonable expectation for an initial gift from a new corporate donor?
Well, and it varies. That's the corporate giving question that everyone asks. Our lowest level is $2,500, but certainly if I go in and someone says that's just way out of the ballpark, then I talk to them about being a $500 sponsor or a $1,000 sponsor, or I present to them other opportunities that we can come up with pretty much on the fly that they could sponsor. So perfect example, I went on a corporate ask. I asked them for the 2,500. That was way off of their mark. They said, we have 500 that we can give away. What can you do, and what can we benefit? What can we get for us giving you $500? And I immediately thought, hey, it's back to school time. We're getting ready to have a back to school bash. We would love for you to sponsor that back to school bash. We can put signage up at the event. That'll pay for food and gifts and activities for the event itself. And that's actually happened 2 or 3 different times where someone couldn't do the $2,500 level, so they came in and sponsored something specific.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions?
I know it was really short because I went through it really fast. That's my nerves. But if anyone has questions or you think of something afterward, please feel free to email me and ask away. I would love to chat with anybody or share any of the documents that I have or talk about more of our corporate giving program. Other than that,
All right, that looks like that's it. Well, thank you again, Jennifer. And again, this webinar, if you would like any of your other staff or board members to view this, it will be available on .net as well as our YouTube channel. So you can just reference them to that. And everyone is saying thank you, Jennifer.
thank you.
You all have a good weekend.
Thank you.